Good morning, everyone. 11 a.m. on the dot. We will go ahead and get started. I am Lauren Hager, the Director of Marketing and Product Development at Prestige Care. I'd like to first, of course, thank you all for joining us today for the final event in our Ageless Grace webinar series with the lovely creator and founder of the program, Denise Medved. For those of you who are new to the series, Ageless Grace is a cutting-edge fitness program designed to engage both the body and the brain and to help improve or maintain cognitive function through some simple and you'll see fun exercise tools. And as you'll learn today from Denise, there's so many wonderful benefits to this program for people of all ages. And at Prestige, we're so proud to offer this programming for our residents and our communities as we focus on helping those we serve maintain independence and just enjoy life at every age. So without further ado, I'll pass the mic to Denise. And thank you so much, Denise, for being here with us today.
Thank you, Lauren. It's a pleasure to be here. And I've had such a good time with everyone the last 2 Wednesdays. And tell me, Lauren, are these recorded so that people can then go to the archives and look for them, right?
Yes, these are recorded. And if you signed up for this webinar on our website and you received an email, you will receive a follow-up email with the recording as well as any slides or information that Denise shares today.
Just want to be sure everyone knows that if you just got here today and missed the first 2, that you can still go back and pick those up. Because what we're doing is we are there are 21 simple tools for lifelong comfort and ease, lifelong brain health, and lifelong physical function. And so we've done 7 of those tools in the first webinar, 7 in the second tool, and today we're going to do the remaining 7. So literally between the 3 webinars, you will have learned all 21 tools that not only activate and keep the 5 functions of the brain stimulated and functioning and alert and able to be sharp and cognitively clear, but you will also have addressed the 21 physical skills that we all need for lifelong optimal function. So a quick review, there won't be a test, I promise, but a quick review of what those 5 primary brain functions are. And we've created an acronym so that you can remember them a little bit easier. So the first one starts with S, and it's strategic planning. And the primary of the brain is to control movement of the body. It's not to be able to create a beautiful piece of artwork or to plan a wonderful retirement plan, even though the brain can do those things. Its purpose is to control movement of the body. So that means that movement affects the brain and vice versa. The brain is in charge of everything we do, think, feel. It's fascinating how the brain turns out to be command central, so to speak. So that first one, strategic planning, means how the body and the brain figure out how to get from point A to B to C to D. And not just as simply as, gee, I want to go to Kentucky from here. How would I do that? But even simple things like if I wanted to stand up right now because I'm seated on a bench, how would I do that? So my brain would say, first step would be to put my feet flat on the floor. Second step might be to push down and lift up. So that's strategic planning from a physical and mental point of view. The next one is an M, and it stands for memory and recall. And I know everyone is very interested in that one. That seems to be the primary interest of most people. What about memory? Well, believe it or not, almost all memories are physical experiences that we've had. We might remember sitting in the 3rd seat in our 5th grade class when we heard a fact about a certain geography information. We might remember in an auditorium as a band or a rock band played at a concert and we heard a certain song. Almost every memory we have is associated with some sort of physical experience. So memory actually is recalling those physical experiences, not only just remembering a fact, but actually remembering the experience we've had. Now, recall is part of the same function, but it's actually a little different. So even though you haven't had a physical experience with that specific memory, let's say playing the trombone, You may say, I've never held a trombone, I've never played a trombone, but I recall seeing someone else play it in a band, or I recall being at an orchestra when the trombone section played. So that's recalling what you know. And once again, it's actually a physical experience of remembering that you saw this happen and you know a little bit about it. So I have a good idea that a trombone has a slide. I blow into it, even though I've never touched a trombone before. Next one is analytical thinking. And that means understanding from a cognitive and physical point of view all the aspects of an activity. What are all the different physical movements involved? So, for example, we could take any sport for as a good example of this. Like if I were to say baseball, I might want to bat. Maybe I'm a switch hitter and I can bat on both sides. I might want to run. I might want to slide in home. Maybe I'm a pitcher. Maybe I'm a catcher. Maybe I'm fielding. Maybe I'm cheering from the stands. All analytical thinking of what are the parts or components of an activity physically. Next one is C, and that stands for creativity and imagination. And that's a really important one. Some of us will say, oh, I'm not that creative, because you think you're not an artist, or you're not a painter or a sculptor, or you don't design jewelry. But in fact, we all are moving creatively, and we especially were very creative in our movements when we were younger, from the time we were born till our teens, when we were trying new things and experimenting, when we were figuring out how we're going to do things. Anything that's a new or different movement is a creative movement for the brain. And so also, when we do something, whether we realize it or not, we have an image or a picture in our mind of ourselves doing that. So if I were to say to you right now, I want you to pretend that you're swimming across the English Channel, right away, you're going to picture that, and then you might start to do it, and you're imagining yourself in the water in the English Channel. So that's creativity and imagination as it relates to physical movement and physical experience. Last one is kinesthetic learning. And that's a really important one, because that's how we learned from the time we were born until our late teens or early 20s. And that means we learned through our body first, and then the brain engaged with the body, observed what we were doing. And if we continued to practice it, it made us more efficient at that. So an example might be riding a bicycle. So none of us knew how to do it. And probably most of us didn't take a course or have an instructor. We just watched our siblings, our friends, our parents, and we went outside and we got on the bicycle and we fell off. And the next time we rode a couple feet and we fell off, and we learned how to do it through the body first, but the brain was paying attention, and it was saying, come on, get back on the bicycle one more time, and I'll make you more efficient at this. If you lift your knees a little higher, if you hold the handlebars a little further back. And we figured out how to be pretty good at riding a bicycle, or whatever it was we were figuring out. That's kinesthetic learning, learning through the body first. So those first letters of those words are SMACK. Smack. And that means the sounds of neurons firing, which are brain cells. They make a snapping, crackling, popping sound when they fire. And that is what we all want. We want to have new brain cells firing, and as right up until the day we die, hopefully healthy and doing what we want and enjoying life and being cognitively sharp. So how do we get those neurons to fire? Well, it's actually pretty simple, believe it or not, because we use a lot of big words like neuroplasticity and neural pathways and neurons. And neurons, as I said, are brain cells. Neural pathways are things that we have repeated physically a few times, and then we're starting to get sort of a deeper groove each time in that information highway between the brain and the body, and we're getting better and better at it. And then neuroplasticity is our personal ability to change regardless of our age, to change our brain and central nervous system, both in form and function. Now, the best way to do that is by doing something new physically that we don't already know how to do, or doing something that we know how to do differently. So what do I mean by that? A simple thing would be if you brush your teeth with this hand, brush with this hand. And your brain's going to say, wow, that's not what I usually do. I'm going to have to fire some brain cells to figure out how to do that efficiently on this side. And so the program, Ageless Grace, that's being taught all over the prestige care communities and residential areas is a program that addresses activating those 5 brain functions all the time through those 5 simple activities, through those 21 simple activities, and it's addressing those physical functions that we need. Now, what are those? Those are spinal mobility and overall flexibility and their upper body strength and their mobile hip flexors and those kinds of things that we know we need to live an optimally functional life. So I'm going to be showing you those last 7 tools today that we covered the first 7 in the first webinar, the second 7 in the next webinar, and today are the last 7 tools that are things you can do at home on your own, and they're the people at Prestige practice all the time. And it not only sharpens the brain, it sharpens the body. And of course, both of those things need to be healthy in order to have a healthy life. If your body isn't working correctly, even though your brain is sharp, well, that's not a great quality of life. If your brain is not active and it's confused and it's not sharp as it could be, but the body's healthy, well, that's not the optimal quality of life. What we want is both to be working at the same time. So that's what this program addresses. You could all figure out things all day long to do that would activate the 5 functions of the body, that would make your body more flexible. But in this program, these 21 tools have it all figured out for you. The information comes from researchers, from neuroscientists, from neurosurgeons, from physical therapists, exercise physiologists. It's all put into one program so that you don't have to think about it. Now, the best part, I think, is this. It's easy. The next best part is it's fun. So it's fun, it's simple, it's easy. You can do it on your own. And not only that, everyone can do it. If you're in a wheelchair, if you're on a walker, if you have a cane, if you have poor balance, if you're a triathlete, if you're a child, anyone with a brain can do this. So I always like to joke and say, the only person I know who can't do Ageless Grace is the Scarecrow in Wizard of Oz. And didn't he eventually get a brain? I think so. Anyway, so without further ado, I'm going to go back to this chair right here behind me because Ageless Grace is done seated. Now, right away, some of you may say, well, I'm healthy, I'm strong, I don't need to be sitting down to exercise and move. Yes, for this program, you really do. Whether, again, you're 5 years old or 45 or 75 or 105, everyone sits. Here's why. When we sit and ask you to do each of these or any of these 21 tools, they're all things that you would normally do standing or running or moving. They're physically active. But when I ask you to do these in a chair, for example, let's do the breaststroke and pretend we're swimming. Well, right away, instantaneously, before I finish the sentence, your brain is saying, what? I'm going to swim in a chair? How would I do that? My legs are in front of me. Well, right away, your feet have to be in front doing the paddling part. And you might have to sit up from the back of the chair and do your swimming stroke or your breaststroke. And so we're in a chair to cause the brain to activate and engage immediately with what we're being asked to do physically. Now, also being seated, for those of you who've ever done any core work, for the core, which you know needs to be strong and healthy for you to have the optimal function for the rest of your life. When we're doing core work, being seated is the best way to work the core. The core actually consists of the head, the chest, and the pelvis. And so being seated, those things can all move really easily up and down and forward and to the sides, and much more easily than if you were standing, because in order to move that core, you would need pretty darn good balance. So this way you're supported by the chair. And guess what's in the core? Well, the brain, the spine, and the beginnings of all those nerve endings, 7,000 nerve endings in each hand and 7,000 nerve endings in each foot. All of that is part of the central nervous system, which is what we want to activate and keep strong and healthy. The other thing is being seated activates the organs of the body, so that your kidney, your liver, your spleen, your lungs, your heart are all also getting a workout from being seated. It also activates the systems of the body, respiratory system, circulatory system, nervous system. All those systems get activated because you're moving the core where those systems emanate from and return to. The other thing is there are actually energy centers or energy locations along the spine. Some of you may know they're called chakras in other cultures, or chakras, but we just know that they're pools of energy that fill along the spine and give us vitality. So when we're moving the core, we're moving those energy centers and helping us to have more energy, more life force, more vitality. And then the final thing is this, not why we're in a chair, but it's a benefit of being in the chair. Anyone can benefit from this. As I said earlier, if you need to be in a chair because you're in a wheelchair, or you have partial paralysis, or you have poor balance, or you're frail, or any of those things, you can still do Ageless Grace, even though that's not why we're in a chair. It's a bonus for why we're in a chair. So I'm going to cover tools 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21 today. And what I'd like to do is invite you, while I'm going back to this chair and adjusting my screen so you can see my feet, I'm going to invite you to take your shoes off. You can leave your socks on if you want to, or being barefoot, because we're not going to be weight bearing. So if you have diabetes, edema, plantar fasciitis, neuropathy, neuromas, any of those diagnoses in your feet, this will be good for it. It will not hurt you in any way. It's perfectly safe because we're not weight bearing. We're just going to move our feet around a little bit and stimulate very lightly and gently those nerve endings that end up where? Right here. Join me, push back from your screen, whatever that is, and get into a comfortable chair. And don't watch me do this, please, because that means I'm going to get the workout and all the benefit. I want you to get the workout and the benefit for both your brain and your body. So please do it with me. We can't see you, so you can do this and make as much noise as you like. Enjoy yourself. It's also done to music. So why is that? Because one more layer of activating the brain and the central nervous system. Many of you know there are many, many, many research studies that show that music is wonderful for the brain for all of those 5 primary functions that I mentioned. So while you're getting ready, I'm going to get ready, and I'm going to move right back here so that you can see me. I think that's got it. All right. So I'm turning on my speaker. Oops, let me just adjust this slightly more, just a tiny bit more. So not only, there you go, so you can see the top of my head too. So you'll see that I'm in a comfortable chair. I call this the Goldilocks chair, meaning if you remember the story, it wasn't too hard, it wasn't too big, it wasn't too soft, it wasn't too small. It was the just right chair. So this is the just right chair that ideally you're in when you are practicing these. You may not be in that chair right now today, but when you do these on your own to help your own brain health, then you want to be in a Goldilocks chair that's comfortable. And what I mean by that is you want to be able to be away from the back of the chair with your spine upright, with both feet flat on the floor. You see, I've got my socks on. It's cold here today. You also want a chair that either supports your lower back or you can add a little pillow or a cushion to add a little support for the lower back if you like. Now, if we lift one leg at a time, this is the perfect position because it's pretty easy to do. You might have a chair with arms that you can hold on to, or a chair that doesn't have arms and you can hold on to the sides when you need to. The nice thing about being in a chair is that you can also lift both legs at once. You can't do that standing, or if you can, send me an email because I'd really love to know about it because that I think would be called levitating or floating or something like that. So the other thing is that when we put our head forward or down, we want to put one foot a little more in front of the other one so that when we go forward and down, this thigh is supporting my head and neck. It's holding me up. It's stopping me from going lower than I should. And it's allowing me to be able to reach down. And then every once in a while, if you're going forward and down, you might want to put the other foot forward and down, because guess what else? It activates those hip flexors and the psoas muscle, the abdominals. So it's a wonderful thing to do, to have that leg forward and then reach down with your head and your arms. So are you ready to begin? I am. Let's get ready. The first one is called balancing act. And I know that just like memory, balance is a big issue or concern for many people. What you may not know is that there are 3 primary balance points in the body. Who knew, right? So the first one is in the center of the balls of the feet, right here in the center of the balls of the feet. So whether your foot is flat or whether your heels are lifted and you're on the balls of the feet, the center of the ball of the foot is where your weight ideally is concentrated. Now, don't raise your hands, but I can tell you that 99.9% of all people don't tend to walk with their weight evenly distributed over the balls of their feet. Many of us walk forward into the toes or back into the heels, or we put our weight on the outside of the feet or the inside. That's called supination and pronation. But the perfect balance point, so you can be conscious of it and have this information, is on the ball of the foot on each foot so that the weight is concentrated there. The second balance point, kind of fun, is 2 fingers below your belly button. So find your belly button, put 2 fingers there, and there is my center of gravity, which is also a balance point in my body. But it's not on the front of my belly, it's inside the middle of me. It's not on my back, it's in the middle, like a little spot right inside of me. And that means that my arms, my legs, my head, my shoulders, my hips, my feet, all of those things have to organize itself around my center of gravity. And when we learn how to do that, then guess what? Our balance improves immediately. It's great for fall prevention. The third balance point is the 3 canals of the ear, which are spiraled, and inside is fluid. And inside the fluid are tiny little particles of bone called crystals. They're supposed to be there. What's not supposed to be there is if you don't move your head frequently, that liquid can become gel-like or jelly-like. And then those little crystals that are supposed to move easily through the fluid from side to side, from back to front, from top to bottom, putting your head down, lifting up, they become stuck in that gel or jelly-like substance that is no longer liquid. And then it throws us off balance, or it makes us feel dizzy or lightheaded, or in worst cases, it causes vertigo. So there's a cure for that. And that cure is moving your head. So we're going to move our head up and down, side to side, at a speed that's comfortable for you. We don't have to go too fast. We don't have to go too slow. You want to think of sort of sloshing that fluid and moving it around, trying to get the crystals or particles of bone to move inside the fluid or the gel, depending on what's happened inside your ear canals, so that we can improve your balance and overall quality of life. So those are the 3 balance points. Are you ready to practice some movement? Here we go. So this is from All That Jazz, Chicago. So lift your heels up and walk on the balls of your feet. Get your shoulders going. Use your forearm, your hands, your elbows. Put your foot flat and kind of stomp the ground just a little lightly. Hold foot. Now think about putting your weight into the ball of the foot, not the toes, not the heel, but the ball of the foot. Walk your feet all around. Now back to the ball of the feet and bounce. So you're thinking, center point of the feet, the balls of the feet. Now one foot on the ball. Now one foot flat. Now let's try it on the other side. Ball of the foot. Walk it all around the ball. Heel is off the floor. Now hold foot. Weight in the ball of the foot. Now we're going to switch from the feet and the ball of the foot. We're going to switch to the center point about 2 fingers below the belly button. We're going to flush. So imagine you're weightless. Maybe you're in outer space like an astronaut. You're supported by the chair. So play with it. Go way back. Go over to one side. You're safe. That chair's right underneath you. Arms, head, shoulders, head. Tilt your head a little bit. Think of back behind you. Over to one side. Over to the other side. So you're looking with things on and off balance. And your breath is connecting with that center of gravity. Think of fun. Think of playing. This will improve your balance so fast. Don't do it standing up. Do this in a chair. Now let's move from this center of gravity to those 3 canals of the ears. And simply just look here, 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 here. Now, how much you think of being a child? It's like, no, I don't want to do that. No. Do that head. Do chores. I don't want to do homework. No way. I don't want to clean my room, but I'd like to go to Disney World. Yes. So you can take the head up and down. You can take it from side to side or around. Think of moving your nose around, around, around. Go the other way. Circle this way. As long as that head is moving. Now, theoretically, you could do all this at once. You could move the head. You could float. You could put the balls of the feet down. And that is a balancing act to improve all 3 balance points of the body, right? So the next one is called Breathe Out Loud. It's for oxygenation of the bloodstream in the cells. We need oxygen. Most of us take a breath in, but most of us hold our breath and we forget to exhale. And we must have a full and complete exhale in order to have fresh oxygen in our lungs and our cells. So we're going to focus on the exhale, and that means making noise or sound that you know you're exhaling. So I just want you to go ah, ah. Now go oh, oh. Now go ooh, ooh. Yep. Now, how about a little A-I-O-U? A-E-I-O-U. Say it with me out loud. A-E-I-O-U. 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 Now point and go. A-E-I-O-U. 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 Let's count by 10. Here we go. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Now backwards. 100, 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. Let's do it again. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Backwards. 100, 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. And then let's go. Ha 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 and then let's go. T-roll, T-I-R-O. T-roll, T-roll. Use your hands. T-roll. Don't just think this. Say it out loud. T-roll, 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 T-roll. How about snap, crackle, pop? Snap, crackle, pop. Snap, crackle, pop. Snap, crackle, pop. Snap, crackle, pop. One more. Snap, crackle, pop. Any sound repeated over and over 10, 12, 15 times to get the abdominal wall pushing it out, right? Pushing it out. All right, 17 is called grab that. And we're going to grab, 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 grab. It's for dexterity in our hands and fingers, but also in our feet and toes. So first start grabbing with your hand and imagine what you're grabbing. Maybe you're grabbing fireflies. Maybe you're grabbing duck bars or chocolate. Maybe you're grabbing stars. Move it faster, faster, faster. Maybe you're going to turn your palms up and grab $100 bills. Oh my goodness. Grab those $100 bills. See how many you can get. Fast, fast, fast. Open and close all 10 fingers. Grab, 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 grab. Now we're going to let our feet imitate our hands. So grab with both hands and grab with all 10 toes. Now see if you can grab with your toes, not your ankles, not your foot, but your toes are opening and closing. Now let's do opposite. So this hand and this foot, grab it, grab, grab. What are you grabbing? Diamonds and emeralds. Get as many as you can with your toes and your fingers. Now switch sides. This hand and these toes. Get those toes. And if you're not thinking, just be thinking, I want my toes to do what my hands are doing, what my fingers are doing. Good. Now let's move it all around. Diamonds, emeralds, rubies. $100 bill. Now grab, 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 other foot. Grab, 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 grab. How about if you turn those palms up here? Like you're catching something. Pennies from heaven, inflation. More like dollars from heaven. $10 bills from heaven. Grab and open. Now same hand and foot. Grab, grab, grab. What do you grab? This hand gets to rest. This one gets to rest. Now switch. This hand and this foot. Grab with those toes. Grab with those fingers. Open and close. Now just the opposite of grabbing is flicking those fingers. Like you've got water on your hands. The water drops off your knees. Click, 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 all over. Get down low and click. What if you were picking apples? Big. Open that hand wide. Pick those apples. And of course, if you've ever picked apples, some of the best apples are on the ground. So put one foot a little forward. There you go. Your hands and arms may be tired, especially the forearm. So just have a green board, and we're going to do something called shaking our shoulders. And it's for the myofascia or connective tissue. So start with one leg and shake it. Shake it, shake it, shake it. Now, if you make a sound, you'll know if you're really shaking or not. So go, ah. Other leg. Does everybody remember Al Hurt? This is Al Hurt playing the Green Hornet. Hold on to the arms at the side of the chair. Shake both legs. Fast as you can go. The myofascia, or connective tissue, is between your skin and your muscles. All over your body, everywhere you have skin. And if it gets tight, that means you're going to ache. And it feels like arthritis, but it's stiff myofascia. But the good news is you can shake it like this, and you can cause it to get more supple and stop hurting. So here goes an arm. Make that sound. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. Both arms out here. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. Not only does this work your myofascia or connective tissue, it works your sense of humor. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. Now I want to see you shake your belly button. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. Hopefully you're smiling. Shake your belly button. Shake it, shake it. So shake this leg and this arm. Switch this arm and this leg. Shake your nose. Whew. Feels so good when you get through, doesn't it? Yes, it does. But it's wonderful for getting supple connective tissue and getting rid of that achy feeling that feels like arthritis. So this next one is called Team Fit. It's martial arts, it's sports, it's any kind of sport that gives us muscle mass and coordination. So let's start with martial arts, and I want you to do some kicking. Are you ready? Pow, pow, say pow, 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 pow. Turn your toes up. Pow, 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 pow. Doesn't matter where you kick, just kick. Kick like you mean it. Pow, 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 pow. How about some punches? Pow, 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 pow. How about some chops? Open your hand. Chop, 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 chop. The little finger side of your hand is chopping like a blade. Chop, 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 chop. Can you do it really fast? Are you ready? Chop. How about boxing? So give me some punches, double punches. Punch, 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 punch. How about a punching bag to get us ready to box? And remember what Muhammad Ali said? He said, you gotta sting like a pig, but you gotta float like a butterfly. And that means your feet. So move those feet around and still punch. But the hands are stinging, the feet are floating. Now, another thing that might get us ready for boxing might be jumping rope. Both feet at once. Or how about more like a skipping step? Up and it's over. We could play basketball. We could play tennis. We could swim. We could do anything you can think of it as a sport, and that will help your muscle mass and coordination, right? All right. So this next one that we're going to do is called get down, get up. Right? Get down, get up. Are you ready? Down, down, up, down. Now let's put 1 foot forward because it's going to really lower our head. Now you can go as low as you like comfortably. It's going to stop you safely. Now can we do this in time to the music? Are you ready? So it's up, tap, down, tap, up, tap, down. Now you'll notice on the screen there's a little bit of lag time. You don't have to be exactly with me or exactly with the music. It's a simple thing to get up and get down. And there's one beat in between. Guess what this is for? The muscle of the heart, cardiovascular conditioning. Always a beat in between the up and the down. Some say yeah, some say no. Some people wait and see which way the wind is going to blow. I love this song. She says, but don't you ever let nobody drag your spirits down. Now let's put the other foot forward and go one hand up and one hand down. And it doesn't matter how low you go. Go your low, whatever that is. Maybe it's here, maybe it's up here for the high. So up, tap, down, tap. Up, beat, down, beat. Always a beat in between the up and the down. Now let's switch sides, up, beat, and put the other foot forward. Oh my goodness, brain games. What happens if you don't get it? It doesn't matter. It matters that you're thinking about getting it. And that's activating those 5 functions of the brain. Up, beat, down, beat, up, beat. Now let's keep both hands up. Up, down, down. So it's up, beat, down, beat. Up, beat, down, beat. You decide how high, you decide how low, but don't stop, even if it's this high and this low, because you're moving your heart around. Up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up. Now we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to put our feet wide apart. Are you ready? Up, in close, out wide, in close, up, beat, down, beat, up, beat, down, beat, up, beat, down, beat, up, beat. Are you doing this with me? You better not be cheating and just watching me. I'm getting up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up. So anything that takes you up with a beat in between, like a clap or an extra hand, takes you down, beat in between, it's going to get your heart rate, because when we move the heart around, it causes it to beat faster, right? So this is the 21st tool, and it's called Dance Party. It's for emotional expression. Why do we dance? To have fun, to have a good time, to blow out some steam, to clear the cobwebs, right? And it doesn't matter whether you think you can dance. Everybody can dance. You just can dance. So let's start by just stamping our feet all around. It doesn't matter when you put them, just move them around. See that, girl? Watch that scene. Digging the dancing queen. So we're moving those feet. Now see if you can keep the feet moving. And let's move the arms overhead like this. So move the feet. Doesn't matter where they go. This is not a choreographed dance. This is our dance. We're playing. We're having fun. Now let's dance our rib cage. And can you dance your rib cage at the same time you're dancing your feet? Oh my. So the feet are still moving, the ribs are dancing. They're moving side to side, front to back. You're a dancing queen. Now, how about if you dance your belly button? You know I love the belly button. So dance that belly button. Now, while you're dancing your belly button, also dance your hands. Doesn't matter what they do. The fingers are wide apart. Maybe they're out to the sides. Maybe they're in front of you. Maybe they're behind you. See that girl? Watch that scene. Digging the dancing queen. Or king. Now I want you to dance everything on one side of your body. Dance your ear, your elbow, your hand, your knee, your thigh, your feet. Everything on this side. How about your eyelashes on that side? Get it going. Yeah. Dance that side of the body. Try to hold this one still. Doesn't matter what you do. Now the other side. Ear, eyelashes, elbow, fingers, rib. That side of your belly button. Knee, foot, ankle. Dance it. Hold this side as still as you can. Now, does anybody remember a dance called the monkey? Thumbs up. Yeah, there you go. Does anybody remember a dance called the twist? Yeah. Show me your best stuff. I know you all were twist contest participants at some point in time. So give me that twist. How about a step like the cha-cha, like this? Cha-cha-cha, 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 cha-cha-cha. Does as long as they follow the cha-cha-cha, a 1, 2, 3, a 1, 2, 3, a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 pattern. Cha-cha-cha, cha-cha-cha, cha-cha-cha. Now, how about flash dance? Maniac. Woo! Now, I don't know about you, but I feel like I got a great workout from just doing those 7 tools. I activated my body. I activated my brain. I don't know about you, but I also feel more alert, more sharp, more alive, more full of vitality and energy. So I'm going to come back up to the screen. So that we can talk just a little bit. Okay, there I am. So I'm going to take a little sip of water because I spent a lot of energy. So I encourage you all to hydrate. And a little fact, the brain needs 3 things to just be alive. I don't mean to function fabulously. I mean to be alive. Hint number 1. The brain needs water. So even though you may think you don't like water all that much, or you don't like the taste, people tell me that all the time, you can buy these little containers now in the grocery store that's tangerine flavored or grape flavored or lemon flavored. 2 or 3 drops in a nice big 24-ounce water bottle, not a commercial for Starbucks, just what I happen to have. And it'll taste nice. It'll taste like a nice fresh fruit. That's another thing you can do. Put a few blueberries in your water or put a few strawberries in your water, and very shortly, it'll start to taste delicious. So that's the first thing the brain needs to be alive and to function well. Water. Second thing, what do you think? Sleep. So sleeping is really important for the brain. It needs to rest. It will still be working, but it goes into a place of stasis. Now, many of you may say, well, there's nothing I can do about that. I've tried everything. I don't want to take sleeping pills. Well, let me tell you this because it's interesting. If you eat healthy food, that's the fuel, not only for your body, but for your brain, healthy food. And if you exercise or move daily, it causes you to sleep better. Usually it's food that keeps us awake. Indigestion, caffeine. Don't forget tea has caffeine as well as coffee, unless you're using an herbal tea. But so how can we sleep better? Eat healthy foods. Most of you know that the Mediterranean diet means heavy on lots of vegetables, heavy on berries, not just fruit, but berries, and fatty fishes like tuna fish or salmon, those types of things. So sardines. And of course, you can have red meat sometimes, but just not every meal. So that's one way to do it with healthy fuel. But another thing that's really good is to get yourself in a ritual or a practice that you do 1 hour before it's time for you to go to bed, or when you know you should go to bed. And remember also that going to bed earlier is actually better for the brain than later. The best sleep actually happens usually between 10 o'clock at night and midnight. That's the best sleep for most of us, whether you realize it or not. Now, so the ritual I'm talking about signals the brain to slow down, to stop producing endorphins and things that keep us awake, maybe like serotonin or even cortisol, which is a stress hormone. And so what do I mean by a ritual? Well, it could be as simple as, all right, turn all the screens off, no TV, no music player, unless it's soft, relaxing, sort of meditative, calming music, no cell phone, no iPad or laptop. That's the first thing. And then the brain's gonna say, oh, we're shutting all that off. It's time to calm down. And then maybe you do something like prepare yourself a cup of hot herbal tea, something with no caffeine, even something calming like chamomile. And you sip the tea and the brain says, oh, we're preparing to sleep. Let's start to slow down. Let's start to shut systems down to a quiet hum instead of a roar. Maybe what you do is read some inspirational readings, not an exciting mystery thriller that's going to keep you awake till 3 a.m, but something that's calming, like a beautiful poetry book or some readings or meditations that are inspiring. Maybe you have a pet like a dog or cat, and maybe you take that pet in your lap and you stroke it or sit beside it if it's a big pet, like mine's an Old English sheepdog and a big orange Maine Coon cat, and stroke them. It's very calming and peaceful, not only to the body and the emotions, but to the brain. So create a ritual. And of course, actually getting in the bed and lying down and even just being still and thinking, oh, I'm going to relax everything from my toes up, and take your time and go from the toes to the ankles, to the shins, to the knees. You get the picture all the way up to the top of your head. Breathe in and think about breathing in, breathe out and think about breathing out. Simple things like that, an hour before you go to bed, to sleep, I should say, will cause you to have a deeper, more restful and longer sleep. So that's two things: water, remind myself, and sleep. Oxygen is the third thing it needs. And we did breathe out loud today. So it's very important for you to practice your exhale. Some of you may know this, some of you may not, but ideally the perfect breathing pattern for a healthy body and brain is to make your exhale twice as long as your inhale. How many of us do that? Probably none of us, but it's a good practice to think about. I want to breathe out, and then I want to breathe in, and then I want to breathe out, and then I want to breathe in. A simple thing would be to breathe out normally and naturally. Don't exaggerate. Don't go, don't need to do that. Just breathe out and count what feels like a comfortable breath for you, and then breathe in for half that long. So if you count out to 8 or 10, then breathe into 4 or 5. Count out to 8 or 10. So those are 3 things that can help you have a healthy brain, combined with movement and nourishment choices. So we're going to stop now and have a few minutes of question and answer time. If you have anything you want to ask, that would be just great. We'd be glad to hear from you. You can type it into the chat if you don't want to actually speak out loud, but I think Lauren's going to ask anybody who wants to talk to. Somebody said the core is burning in the chat. Yeah, it really works the core. So if you have any question at all, again, you can type it into the chat if you would rather not speak out loud, or you can unmute yourself and ask a question, or maybe even give a comment or some insight. Maybe you have a practice about getting your brain to calm down, to sleep better, or what you do for hydrating yourself, or how you practice breathing.
Denise, we had one question come in. How long or how often should you do Ageless Grace?
Thank you for that question. That's an excellent question. Believe it or not, doing 10 to 15 minutes a day of Ageless Grace is better for your brain health. Now, this is not, if you want to be a triathlete or a runner, then you need to train to be a runner. This is not for training to be a runner. This is for having a healthy brain and body. 10 to 15 minutes a day is better than doing 70 minutes on Friday afternoon. Now you'd think, well, oh, that 70-minute workout, like that would be good for me. Well, it certainly would be good for you, but better yet is 10 to 15 minutes a day. So 10 minutes a day would be 70 minutes a week. It's pretty simple. I always say to people, don't tell me that you don't have time for 10 minutes a day. That's such a small amount of time. And it's a gift you give yourself. People are always saying, what can I do to delay cognitive decline? What can I do to prevent it? What can I do to improve my brain or my memory? 10 minutes a day of the things that we just did, whatever you can remember, or Lauren is also going to be sending out a little summary of the 7 tools that we did. And you can also get the summaries from the first 2 webinars. You're also welcome to visit my website, agelessgrace.com. And there are all kinds of free things, and there's a free class on there. And there's also classes that you can buy, or DVDs or whatever, that would help you practice this at home and remember what the tools are. They're flashcards, a playbook. We don't call it a workbook. It's a playbook. So 10 minutes a day is better. Here's why. You're stimulating those neurons to fire, and the brain's alive and awake. And then from that point on, when you stop, it starts to decline. And that has to do with genetics and propensity, et cetera. So if you do it again the next day, it either maintains where it was or it improves. If you do it again the next day, it maintains or improves. But I also want to point out, if you say, I'm going to start doing this every day, and then you realize on Sunday that you forgot to do it the last 3 days, don't say, well, I forgot. Never mind. I'm not going to do this. Or never mind. I'm a failure. I couldn't make this happen. It's better to do it once or twice a week than not to do it at all. It's better to do it as many times as you think of carving out 10 minutes in your day than it is not to do it at all. So there's no, gee, you're better if you do 100 days in a row. You might miss some here and there, but do it as much as you can, and you will be surprised how much more alert, sharp, clear, your ability to concentrate, and how your body will function better. But most importantly, how your brain and your body will start talking, dialoguing, communicating, so that your overall quality of life improves. And you start to be able to do the 3 R's, which are not reading, writing, and arithmetic. They are responding, reacting, and recovering. And that's what we all want for the rest of our lives.
Another question, how can I support someone with limited mobility to try Ageless Grace?
It's in a chair. That means if they're in a wheelchair, they can do it. It means if they have partial paralysis, they can do it. So you do what you can. The instructor will usually be going all out, because the point is for all of us to do our best, whatever that is. So if my best is to lift my leg this high and your best is to barely lift it off the floor, that's all you need to do. Now, if you have paralysis in some part of your body or very limited range of motion, the best thing you can do is do your best on the side that moves, and then imagine yourself doing it just as well on the other side, even though the range of motion is much smaller, or maybe not at all. Because Dr. Norman Doidge, who wrote the book, The Brain That Changes Itself, I highly recommend it, did studies that show when MRIs are taken that imagining yourself doing something and actually doing it light up the same parts of the brain. How cool is that? So if you're imagining that your left arm is working as well as your right arm, you're helping activate that part of the brain that talks to that arm that's limited in movement. So heavens to Betsy, if you have limited range of motion, go for it. Do this. It will help you improve. You might be surprised at how much it will help you. And it will certainly fire new neurons and cause your brain to be healthier and sharper.
Thank you, Denise. Any other questions? Feel free to put them in the chat box and we can answer them for you. Anything at all? Alrighty, I think that might be all the questions. I want to thank you guys for spending time with us today and learning more about Ageless Grace. I do want to also let you know that we're offering free online Ageless Grace classes in February on February 10th, 17th, and 24th, all at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Those classes are led by our wellness coach, Alicia Stewart. And in these classes, you'll actually be performing the tools designed to be very interactive and lots of fun, as Denise showed us all today. And you can sign up for these classes at prestigecanhelp.com on our website. If you have any questions at all about the program or about our communities, please feel free to email me directly at lauren.hager@prestigecare.com. Or I do encourage you to visit our website at prestigecare.com to find a community and connect with one near you. So thank you all so much for taking the time to be with us. Denise, thank you for taking the time to speak with us and be a leader in this. So thank you so much. Any last minute questions?
There's one question on there, and it's a great one. Is it okay to do one or two tools standing? I did type an answer in the chat, but I'd like to say it out loud. The whole purpose of this program is to be seated because that's what engages the brain immediately. The second we say, let's pretend you're swimming, or let's pretend you're doing the monkey, or let's pretend you're a lion moving through the savannah, or let's pretend, you are engaging the brain saying, how do I do this in a chair? We do all these things standing. We know how to do these things standing. So it doesn't help us in any way mentally to do them standing. It helps us to do them seated. So even if you're a 20-year-old athlete and you are ready to run a marathon or a triathlon, guess what? Then you want to do these seated. If you're 5 years old, 25, 75, or 105, sitting in the chair is what engages your brain most efficiently and immediately.
Thank you, Denise. Alrighty, as a reminder, a recording of this webinar will be sent out via email as well as the previous 2 webinars. So please stay tuned for that information. If for some reason you don't receive it, please reach out and we'll make sure that you get a recording. Thank you all so much for being here today. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much. So good to see you all.
Bye, everyone.